Welcome to King Lizard's Game Lounge and my Ride to Bike and Character Customization video. So I set this video up just so you guys are aware out there exactly what you get to do in Ride 2 in terms of customization options. Now there are quite an extensive number of options that you can do in the game. Ride 2 is pretty much Forza for the motorcycle enthusiast if you're not familiar with the series, but you start out initially in the game setting up your basic rider, and it is very much just your rider you're setting up here. So you're going to choose your rider's sex, you're going to give them a name and a surname, and you're going to set up things like where they come from as well as their skin tone. Now once you've done that, you'll then go on to your first race in the game, and then you'll get to do more with your character in terms of rider customization. Now unlike the previous game, you do have up to 5 different gear sets or rider sets that you can configure. So you can configure 2 choices if you like for your track racing gear, 2 for your road and 1 for your motocross. Now in terms of helmets is the first thing we're looking at here. I've actually set this off in fast forward mode because there are a lot of choices. You know, there's tons and tons of helmets, well over 100 helmets in here for you to choose between, and there's some pretty cool, neat designs. And in terms of, you know, color choices, there's quite a range of colors that you can choose for your rider as well, whether you're just going to go something off the mark that's, you know, very unique and very mixed, or very kind of loud and proud, or whether you want to go for something a little bit more traditional from a rider perspective. But there are really good choice of helmets here, as you can see, and I'm just going through a number of them just so I can choose which one I want to set up with my rider. And to be honest, looking through here, there were a ton of helmets I really liked the look of, so it wasn't like there was a whole bunch of stuff that was pretty dull, pretty boring. You know, there really is quite a large selection of helmets in here that, you know, really do look pretty cool on your rider, and there's quite a lot in here I want to save up some pennies for in order to buy for my various rider outfits. And the fact that you've got 5, you know, unique outfits that you can ride as well is a pretty cool setup. So literally as you go into the game, you just choose which of those rider setups you're going to wear and then get on and get racing. Now once we get through the helmets, I'm going to get there in a minute, which one I chose in the end. And I'm trying to go for kind of a red, black, white finish on my rider here. I want something quite striking, and I tend to like red, you know, red and white and black in terms of bike colors as well. We'll see how I get on there. Now once you've set your helmet, you can then choose your visor color. There aren't a huge number of visor color choices. In fact, there are only 7 in the game, and they're pretty basic. Majority of them focusing around black as in a mid tint, which is what I've chose there. You've also got your iridescent blue and yellow. Now in terms of rider outfits, again, selection's not as strong as the helmets. There's quite considerably less outfits than there are helmets or gloves for that matter, but there's some pretty strong designs that I found quite desirable, things I wanted to save up for, work towards earnings so that I could add them to my rider sets if you like. So I'm going to go for something by Speeder or Spider here. That one particularly because it's got lizards all over it. I do like them in lizards, as you know. And this outfit I quite liked as well in the various colours. I did prefer the orange, and this one I really liked. Well, it's quite a cool outfit. I'll definitely save some pennies up for that one, but I'm going to stick with my red Speeder for now, or Spider. There are an extensive number of glove choices that you can make as well, and obviously the thing to remember is all of these are real life manufacturers of bike gear or bike wear, so it's pretty cool that they're in here in their, you know, real life format if you like. So they've gone to quite a lot of trouble to get some really nice examples of bike gear in here from all of the major bike gear manufacturers. And from a glove perspective, they're quite a large choice of gloves. I do like those reds and whites there. So quick scan through the rest of the gloves just to make sure we didn't miss anything special. Again, they look pretty cool too, but I'm going to go with that choice, I think. Excellent. So that's my glove setup. So on next to the knee pads, for which there are 10 colours. So again, not a massive choice of colours, but a fair number of colours to get the right mix for most of the gear sets that are available within the game. So I'm probably going to go with white here. I'm going to take a look at black and red, see what they look like. I think black is just kind of leaves out any feeling of detail, so I'll go with the white. And then on to the boots, from which there are around about just under 20 different choices for. Now obviously each of those manufacturers also have different colours and some differing designs. And there's a fair number of boots here to get a reasonable mix between your various character sets. I didn't have too much trouble finding a pair that I liked, so I'll kind of go with those for now because I'm a bit short on cash unfortunately, so I won't be able to spend any money on those. And then on to riding styles. So once you've set up your gear that your character is going to wear, you can set up your riding styles for each of the different disciplines. Road and track have the same riding style, and then also you've got motocross riding style, and those various riding styles show your percentages of how good you are at each of those aspects. And then finally for the character we get celebration choices. So basically once you get a third, second or first place, anything in podium, you'll do one of these celebrations at the end of the race, depending on which one you choose of course. And not a massive selection, but it's still something in addition you can add to the game, especially if you're in multiplayer and you want to show off a little bit too. Now next on to the bikes, and what I'm going to choose here, I'm going to choose sports bike, and I noticed that for my career I need a 125 of some flavour, so I saw a Honda earlier on. But in order just to give you a feel, I mean this is just the sports bikes alone here, you can see a massive choice of bikes. There are over 250 bikes in this game, which is pretty impressive. There's not been a bike game with this many bikes that I'm aware of before in video gaming, so real good selection of bikes in here. Prices are astronomical for some of these bikes and take you a very long time, so I'll go for this Honda NSR 125 here. And I'll go for that paint job. Now some of the bikes, when you go into them, you do have multiple choices on the actual paint design. As you can see, this one, quite like this particular paint design, purple, red, white. There were 5 different choices of manufacturer colours for this bike, so it's quite a good choice of the bike colours as well. But in terms of bike customization, there is a lot you can do to the bike. You can change the colours of your handlebars, which you'll see in the video. You can also change your wind mirror styles. You can change your shock and the shock style of colour. Not all of the aspects that you'll change, some of the smaller parts around the engines that you'll change don't always make an aesthetic difference to the bike, especially if you're looking at a sport bike and not a naked bike. Obviously with a naked bike you'll see more of the changes because there aren't any fairings on those bikes in general, or any kind of over cover on the engine, so you'll see more of the changes on a naked bike as opposed to a generally well protected sports bike or a streamlined sports bike if you like. So as you can see here, even down to the brake cabling we can change the colour just to match our aesthetic of how we want to set the bike up. There are a huge number of choices for wheels, which you'll also see in the video as well as we get on later into some of the choices I'm making. Now obviously I already made changes to the chain set in terms of its colouring, and also in terms of with the brakes here we're choosing the colour of the brakes. I'm probably going to go for a red or a white because I think that's going to stand out more. I'll sift through and see what the blue looks like. Kind of losing the blue in there, so I'll go with those red brakes. And then into the disc wheel, you've got 3 different designs of disc wheels. Obviously stock's one of them, so you've got 2 optionals. You've got 2 optional shocks that you can add. I've obviously gone for a gold just to match the rear of this bike. And then in terms of tyres, we can choose what type of tyre we're going to use. Obviously I'm going to choose the best tyre for this bike. I'm going to be racing this. I didn't see the point of spending the money on the lower spec tyre when eventually long term I'm going to want the higher spec anyway. So basically what I did was built my money up so I had enough to do a complete overhaul of the bike, because long term it's just going to save you money rather than kind of chuck a bit of cash at the lower parts and then have to build all that cash and more back up again in order to buy the rest of the parts you want for your bike. So I'd suggest saving up until you've got enough to do everything at once, and it'll save you money in the long term and allow you to buy more bikes and unlock more parts and rider gears and stuff. So just choosing these spoke wheels here, 5-spoke wheels, quite like these. And probably red looks good. I don't know, I might go white here. I think white will match the overall look of the bike. There we go, that's looking pretty cool. And then, as I was saying before, you've got your grip colours you can change. You've also got the headset colour you can change here as well. There are just so many, small details that you can change on the bike. There's pretty impressive stuff. And it's not just this bike, there's lots of different bike variants I could have shown you. Obviously it takes a lot of money to be able to do these kinds of configurations, so you've got to earn plenty of cash. These sorts of configs, most of them are quite cheap, they're in a few hundred credits. Obviously some of the larger changes are a lot more expensive, but there is a hell of a lot you can do to your bike in this game, and that's what I love about it. It's just, in terms of customization, this is a very rich, or customization rich game in Ride 2 on Xbox One. So I'll take this opportunity to thank you guys and gals for watching. I hope this was insightful to you if you're interested in Ride 2 and you wanted to know what the customization options and stuff were, or if you generally just like watching customization videos and seeing what's possible in each of the games. Take care, keep well, and keep watching, and please be kind enough to rate the video, and remember to click that sub button if you're not already a member of King Lizard's Game Lounge. Everyone is welcome.